Good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Out and About with Barry and Mark. Great to be with you on this Monday, the 21st of November, and my word, how 2022 is gone. It's gone like it feels like only yesterday we were only welcoming in 2022, and with a month only to go before Christmas, and coming around pretty quickly. Well, the move to Sydney is still happening, which we will tell you about today on the show. And what an exciting day we had on Friday at Indooroopilly with episode 55, and talking about staying safe on the road and everything. Well, we're going to recap on that now. And joining me now in the studio for episode 56. Good morning to Mark English, and welcome.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, viewers. Hope you've all had a beautiful weekend, and welcome in this what's going to be a very steamy Monday.
And it looks like somebody has turned on the oven outside, I think.
It does feel like it already.
And Christmas is around the corner, guys. Now, we know that Christmas can be a time of happiness and merriness, but at the same time, if you're going away, guys, I don't need to repeat myself. Okay, don't drink and drive, don't drive whilst tired. That's all there is to it. Get a good night's sleep and know which route you're going to take before you head out, and work out how much it's going to cost you before you go away, and consider the family's health. Here's Mark now to open episode 56 with that.
Thanks, Barry. And it is a standard thing to be checking on the car. It should be something that we do routinely, but absolutely before you plan any long trips, make sure that you go through the process of ensuring that your tyres are pumped up to the correct pressures, and that there's enough tread on them, and that your car is serviced and in good working order before you head out. It's there to help you help yourself. So better idea to take the time to make sure you're safe, put yourself at risk.
And your family's help too, guys. Because if someone in the family is sick, there's no point going all that this way or that way, because you may be too far away from a doctor or from a medical center or from a hospital. So please, guys, really do think about your options carefully. Here's Mark.
Absolutely, Barry. You need to take care of yourselves, and that's what all this is about. It is about just putting in a bit of effort to keep yourself safe. If you keep yourself safe, then you're going to keep other people safe as well. But, it's geared toward keeping yourself safe.
So please, as exciting as going on holidays is, okay, you need to take a few things into consideration, such as your health, your stress management, and all of that. And I have a map with you as well. we spoke about this on episode 45 and step points. And we will take a break because I think Mark has a message. Well, the Friday Follies are back this week, and next week we've got a jam-packed show there. So, just getting back to, and we will tell you about that as well. So, getting back to the all-important trip now, it's all very exciting to plan a trip away, but guys, consider your health, your family's health, how long you're going to be away for, etc. Here's Mark now to recommence our intro with that.
Thanks, Barry. It's a very good idea to listen to what Barry's saying because it's advice geared towards your health and having a safe and happy journey. And the obvious things are don't drive tired, obviously, don't drink and drive, and make sure that your car's in good mechanical order. If you've got a long journey, make sure you check your spare tyre or your repair kit or whatever it is that your car has to deal with a flat tyre. It's very important on some of the long journeys because you do become quite isolated on Australian roads at times, and it can be a long time between passers-by if you do run into trouble.
And like we said, you may have to take the tyres off your car in case you can't start your car, because it could be too far for you to walk. Here's Mark.
Have a plan for your journey and make sure that any devices that you have for contacting people are charged up, ready to go, and make sure you've got your safety equipment in the car, such as the reflectors to put out if you get a flat tyre, etc. So just make sure it's all in good working order before you head out for a long trip, and it's just to protect yourself.
And also carry jerry cans of spare petrol, because remember guys, there are no friendly service stations out in the bush. Make sure you check the conditions of the road before you drive your car anywhere. And bring the national parks as well, just in case, because with the bushfire season coming up now, very important to do that. Here's Mark.
It's very important to know the conditions regardless of the time of year or what conditions we're talking about at the moment. Floods are a big danger. So always make sure that you plan ahead and that the route that you've decided to take is one, passable, two, safe, and make sure that you've taken into consideration what you need for your particular journeys and where you're headed. So obviously when Barry says make sure you take spare fuel, if you're heading out into no man's land where there are no fuel stations, obviously you're going to need to carry extra fuel, extra tyres, all the things that you need if you're not expecting help available at all. Obviously, you need to be well prepared for those circumstances. So make sure your journey is well planned.
And don't leave it until the last moment, guys, and think that nothing, you've got everything, and then you halfway up the highway and then you suddenly look and think, oh no, I've got no spare tire. Here's Mark.
That would be less than ideal. So check all those things before you go. Make sure you've got all your safety equipment. If you normally carry tow ropes and jumper leads, etc., make sure it's all in good working order and that you've got all the tools that you need to have a safe journey.
So, a holiday can be fun, but remember, like we've just said, you might have to cancel the trip until the family is better. Someone in the family may have COVID and you may have to look after them. Here's Mark.
If you've got to postpone your trip and all your preparation's been done for a certain time frame and you need to change it, then obviously you need to redo it if you change the time frame of your trip. So absolutely, it's all about planning for the trip when it happens. So if you plan 6 months out and you're looking at weather, you've wasted a lot of time planning weather from 6 months out, because you need to know what it's going to be a day out so that you can get accurate recordings or accurate predictions of what you're going to be dealing with, not what you think it might be in 6 months' time.
Because you may hear on the news that a massive COVID outbreak has broken out in the state that you may be going to, or a flood or bushfire. Here's Mark.
Obviously, a COVID outbreak doesn't affect your driving safety as such, but floods, fires, storms, all sorts of other things do absolutely affect you directly when you're driving. So those things that are going to affect your driving or the actual physical part of the trip, you need to check on them as close to the time that you leave as you can to make sure that what you think you're going to come across is relatively accurate.
So we don't need to repeat ourselves on this. Have a good trip and play it safe, guys. That's all there is to it. And if you see an accident, stop and render assistance. If you need to call an ambulance, call them straight away. And keep well away from fallen power lines if a car has hit the power poles. Here's Mark.
All of those standard safety considerations, please don't ignore them. They're there for a very good reason. So if you do happen to run into fallen power lines, do not touch them. It's been well advertised now, so there's really no excuse for charging into live power lines. So all those safety considerations, please just take them and use them to your life-saving advantage.
Well, now I'd like to talk about the move to Sydney and where I've got to. Recapping my good news from a couple of weeks ago, and that is moving back to Sydney. I have never been so happy in all my life after hearing that. what a good couple of weeks I've had. Here's Mark to tell you about it.
You are very excited about the positive news and the fact that it's now locked in, that your approvals are in, and now we're just waiting for logistics. So once Derek's back from holidays, we'll be able to check in and see if there's been any progress, and certainly sort of set up some expectations.
And so that I can possibly see my brother for Christmas too. Here's Mark.
It's very important. The whole move is about returning to family and friends, and particularly Christmas is a very emotionally charged time, and you're very keen to catch up for Christmas. So hopefully the move is going to be organised in such a way that it gets you to Sydney for Christmas.
And we've got some good news for you viewers. The Friday Follies are back again for another week. So 3 exciting shows coming your way this week. And here's one of them where we're doing it now. Here's Mark.
Yes, today is the first of this week's 3 instalments. So we only just found out that there will be a 3rd instalment this week. So there is a Friday session to continue, at least for 1 week, maybe 2. And it does mean that we'll be able to get some extra shows in.
So this is episode 56, like I've said. And we're nearly up to episode 60. It was only 10 episodes ago we ended up celebrating, but I think the celebrations are well and truly dusted now. I can focus on this and look forward to the things to come. Here's Mark.
It should be about focusing on what's going to happen now into the move and then setting up a new life again in Sydney, which I know you came from Sydney and you'll know a few people, but you'll be in a new address and some new people, and it'll all be quite different.
Well, some new and some old, so I've got nothing to be scared of now. So as I said, out and about. Sadly, we'll finish. Here's Mark.
It does mean that our time will come to an end, but the way things have been going, Barry, we might get a few more shows in. Who knows?
We might get. Well, we've got tomorrow to cover, and then Friday as well. So episode 57 on tomorrow, and then episode 58 on Friday. So, and then episode 59 next week, Monday, and then episode 60. So that's a big achievement there. Here's Mark.
I had no idea when we started that we would get anywhere near a number like this, particularly when I started. We were only together on the Monday, and now it's Monday, Tuesday, Friday. So our time has expanded quite a lot and provided that opportunity to get a lot more shows out. So the opportunity might keep going as it stands.
Until I move, at least.
At least until you move, yes.
So we'd like to say thank you for tuning in with us. Here's Mark now.
Thanks to everyone that tunes in and supports Barry's endeavours to bring you the news as it pertains to him and catches you up on life events and what he's up to, as well as providing information on where to go and what to see in Brisbane. So well worth tuning in to see where we end up.
Well, today we are off to Chermside. So we're going to go there and have a look.
So this will be our first visit to Chermside, not yours, but the first time we've been together.
So thank you to everybody that is just tuned into this show. And the number that we rely on, you know what it is. 000, please do not. And we repeat, do not ring that number. Here's Mark to close the first part of our show with that.
Well, don't ring the number unless you have an emergency. So absolutely, if you have an emergency, ring 000.
But
If you don't have an emergency, do not ring 000. It's a very important service, and we want to make sure that that service is open for people that actually do have emergencies. And if they're being distracted by prank calls, etc., or people just not understanding what constitutes an emergency, then the number is being held up, or I should say, distracted from what it needs to do, which is be available to take calls from people with emergencies.
And before we close the show, this first part of the show today, dig deep in your pocket and donate some money to the Lifeline, the Lifeline. Because if you help raise money to keep them in the air, the next life that they could save could be yours. Here's Mark.
Lifeline, another of the emergency services that is provided for areas where motorised vehicles are going to take too long or are unable to access certain terrain. Helicopters are used to fly in both rescue people and paramedics. So if you can find a few extra cents to help keep life flight in the air, then by all means, please send a donation.
And doesn't matter whether it's $5, 50 cents, $1, $2, every little bit helps, guys. So if you've got spare change and you don't need it for anything, please give generously. Here's Mark.
They do rely on donations to help fund equipment, etc. So if you find your way clear, then you're supporting a very good cause.
So we'd like to close the first part of our show with that. Please give generously. And Bruce will be up next in his trusty cab. We're off to Chermside. So we'll see you there, guys.
See you there.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Chermside. Here's Mark.
It's a beautiful, hot afternoon, and having that vast indoor space full of air conditioning is very nice.
And here we are on episode 56 now. Here's Mark. My good news.
Barry's good news is obviously that his approval to move to Sydney with funding has been finalised and locked in stone. So now it's just a matter of waiting to find out the finer details of how and when the move takes place.
So, we've only got a short episode today. So what we'd like to say is a big thank you for tuning in. Here's Mark.
The YouTube productions are made for viewers, so as Barry said, thank you to everyone that views in. It's very important, and obviously Barry's very dedicated to producing this input for you, so carry on and continue enjoying.
Well, what we'd like to say, guys, it's coming up to Christmas. So, 'tis the season to be jolly. But remember, guys, if you're planning a holiday, like we said before, really do think about your options and consequences. Here's Mark.
Absolutely, planning is essential for a smooth, safe transition from the working, weeks into holiday mode. So the main thing is that everyone just enjoys their holidays as much as they can without any incident.
So, I would like to talk about now compromising. Who's going to pay for what, the fuel, etc. Here's Mark.
Compromise is the key to a successful negotiation, which includes two parties, each with their own agenda. So obviously, if one person or one side gets everything their way, that means the other side didn't, which is not a compromise. So the basic concept of compromise is you give a little bit so that you can come to a mutually agreeable outcome, and hopefully everybody gets mostly what they want.
So guys, we usually go on for 20 minutes or so, but we are winding down because we've produced two very long shows. Here's Mark now.
We've been prolific of late as far as content's concerned and the volume that's gone out. So you've been dedicated to getting a lot of, I suppose, air time up, and we don't need to keep putting as much up as we had been.
And as it's coming up to Christmas as well. Here's Mark.
Well, it is coming up to Christmas, and part of that means getting ourselves organised as well for Christmas. So you're very keen to get your move done, but once you do get your move done, you're going to have to take in other thought processes about stuff you've got to organise for Christmas, particularly if you end up at your brother's family's place.
So we normally would babble on for 20 minutes or so, but guys, this is only short episode today on episode 56. And the reason being, we've done a lot of coverage Here's Mark.
It has been long of late, and you've also put together some collages of video that have produced some very long content. So we don't really need to produce lots and lots of time, do we?
No, because we've already covered it all. So here's Mark now.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a short show, and we've got, well, how did we start today?
In the studio and then with Bruce.
That's right, the studio and then Bruce, and we've had a little jaunt to whatever the Chermside equivalent of time zone is. Kings sounds right, and enjoyed a very nice lunch. So now, I don't know about you, I feel like having a little snooze.
Well, now it's time to work. Short to a close. Thanks for joining us, and the number that we rely on 24 hours a day, you know what it is, 000. Please do not ring that number unless you've got an emergency. Here's Mark to close the show with that.
Thanks, Barry. 000 is a very important number. It's essential that if you do have an emergency, that you call it and use the facilities that are there for you. But if you do not have an emergency, please don't abuse the number. It only makes it harder to provide an appropriate service to the people that do need some kind of emergency response. So, as we always say, please don't prank call 000. The life that they save one day might be yours.
So don't be an idiot, guys, with that number. Simple. Here's Mark.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, just don't abuse it. Memorise it. Use it if you need it. But otherwise, leave them alone to get on with their job.
It is important to respectfully 000 because their sole job is to help save lives. Here's Mark.
Yes, it is for emergencies only. So, as Barry said, it's there designed to save lives, and the life that is threatened by them not being able to do their job potentially one day might be yours. Please don't abuse it. Use it for its intended purpose.
And donate to Lifeflight as well. We did mention that today also before we left. So guys, there's really no need for us to do bigger shows now that it's coming towards the end of the year. Okay, we're giving you all the tips on how to be polite and so on. Here's Mark.
I hope you found them useful or interesting, and as we keep asking, if you could provide feedback or suggestions, that would be absolutely fantastic.
And the address is 23 Mundy, MUNDIE, Place, Grey Park, Queensland 4500. And if you don't feel like writing in, guys, the choice is up to you. We really respect your choice. And here's Mark.
So write to us, and if you want us to give you a shout out, put your name in. If you want to maintain your privacy, either leave all the details off or just ask us not to mention you on air, and we'd be very grateful.
And before I go, my phone manners were very simple today. Here's Mark.
Yes, you're in the midst of trying to get details about the move to Sydney and get on with organising, and today has not been fruitful so far, and you've done a very nice job of maintaining your civility on the phone and practicing what you preach, which is very good.
So, and there's where we must leave the show until we get back to the studio. So guys, like we've said, okay, there's really no need to bring these shows. So we will see you when we get back to the studio. Bruce is up next. Here's Mark.
We look forward to catch up with you when we close the show at the studio, and hope you stay safe until then.
Until then, stay safe everyone. See you back then. Well, here we are now, back at Bray Park after visiting Chermside, and we've had a lovely day today. Here's Mark to tell you about it.
Yes, a very pleasant day to be spending cruising around a air-conditioned supermarket, or more than a supermarket, but certainly very nice to get into the aircon and out of the heat, and have a few games on the what's it called? Kingpin gaming machines, and very nice lunch, and then Bruce was spot on time. So we've had a very, very productive but nicely controlled day.
Well, I spoke to Rona today, and it looks like things are gonna go ahead. Here's Mark.
They're definitely going ahead, and it's just a matter of when, which is, well, hopefully Rona's trying to help things along a little bit more quickly. And you've just reminded me, Barry, that we owe Rona a document before I go today. And yes, it's very positive as far as the move is concerned. Just a matter of waiting for timing.
And hopefully I will get to catch up with my brother for Christmas. Here's Mark.
That's the aim. Everyone's on board, including your brother, about getting you down to Sydney for Christmas so that you can catch up with your family, and hopefully it all comes to fruition.
So we do hope that you enjoyed our Out and About series. Here's Mark.
We've tried to keep it entertaining for you and a little bit informative, and hopefully it's held your interest. But as we keep saying, if you've got suggestions, please send them in. and hopefully we can make it even more relevant for you in the short time we have left.
So we'd like to close the show by saying thanks for tuning in. And the number that we rely on 24 hours a day. We remind you of this every single time. 000, please. Do not call that number unless you have an emergency. Here is Mark to close episode 56 with that.
Thanks, Barry. As always, 000, it is for emergencies only, and anything that interferes with its capacity to do that job is potentially endangering lives. So please don't abuse the number, and hopefully one day, if you need it, it's there to help you.
And donate to Lifeline as well, because every little bit helps, guys. Here's Mark.
They do a great job, and if you feel so inclined, please send a donation to Lifeflight via the RACQ, and that service will be supported even better than it currently is.
So we'll see you tomorrow for episode 57 here in the studio. But until then, good afternoon, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.